Welcome to Outside the Shop. This is going to be our current front burner project. Let me climb up on a ladder, I'll get you a closer view. Okay, I got the roofing company coming in about 2 weeks to do a complete tear off and all new roof. And this satellite dish is my job to remove, and I do not like the way it's installed. It's screwed down right through the roof, which is not acceptable. So, and plus this bracket, I've had a couple different satellite dishes, so it's been modified several times. So I need to make a bracket, and I'm going to go over here and make a new mount over here. Let me get the new piece of pipe and we'll look at it. Okay, so my plan is to make a standoff, like a tripod standoff bracket that'll come off the house, support the bottom, and then I need to make another bracket up here that will bolt through the barge rafter and support the top. Okay, and we'll talk about this tubing in a second, but I need to kill two birds with one stone here. I need to raise this dish up a little bit, so I think I can accomplish that in the same project with this new mass for tubing, and I'll show you why in a second. See these trees? I'm trying to get as close to the satellite dish as I can here. Let's go right here. So the geostationary satellites are right at this tree line, and I am going to have my tree guy cut these back a little bit, but these things grow pretty fast, so that's why I want to raise the dish up a little higher, give me just a little more clearance. Let me get the satellite tracker app iPhone, and I'll show you where the satellites are. Okay, so I only cut one end of our tubes to length and with what we think is the right angle, correct angle. So these are we're gonna tack these on. Actually, we'll probably just go ahead and finish weld them onto here to our two plates that we made. The inspector is checking the work here. What do you think, Ethan? All right, the GoPro battery died, but we got her welded. A little thin on that one corner, but I think we're just going to leave it alone. This is not the easiest stuff to weld. So, Ethan, what was the reason why we needed this other clamp on here?
Because the electricity goes from the welder into the middle, which flows through that and goes back to the welder.
Oh, okay, and it's similar to what?
Train track.
Like a train track on a model train, huh? Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. You guys got all that? And just making sure everything's square and plumb before tacking in place. So, looks like I got enough clearance for the bolt heads, for the nut heads, including the weld bead. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this tacked up. Well, not the prettiest, but I think it'll hold. Ended up with one little fisheye in there where I had a little blow through. Alright, now I got to put the third leg on here. I gave this my best Mark 1 eyeball alignment and a real janky magnetic holder fixturing here. So I'm going to try to tack this in place and hopefully everything stays put. Okay, all the welding is done. I'm not going to show any close-ups. This thin 16 gauge tubing is not user friendly, at least for me anyways, but it should be plenty strong. So next order of business tomorrow I'll get this painted, and then we got to work on the upper top mount. But yeah, I mean, I think it came out pretty good. So doesn't look too bad after an Earl Scheib's paint job. Okay, so our tripod bottom mount is good to go. All right, let's go over to the bench and look at what's next. We got the AC unit running, guys, so you're gonna hear a little bit of background noise. All right, so here's our detailed CAD drawing of what we got. This is our tripod bracket that we just made. It's going to hold the 2-inch mast for the satellite dish, and this bracket it's going to hold all the weight, all the downward force, and locate the bottom. So up here at the top, all we need to do is support the mast laterally, north, south, east, and west. We've got a rafter tail we're going to anchor to. But there's a trim piece, there's the roof sheeting, we got some shingles overhanging, so we got about a 2 1/4 inch overhang. So I need to make a bracket for the U-bolt that will work within that distance. So here's what I came up with, and I've done some layout here. Got a piece of 1 1/4 inch square tubing. I'm just going to knock the corners off like you see. I'll just do that on the bandsaw. I'm going to mill in a couple of slots for bolts. We'll probably bolt all the way through this rafter, which is probably just some 5/16 bolts. Slots so that we got a little bit of room for adjusting. And then, so that'll be mounted on there at an angle. I don't know if that looks right to you guys or not, but it'll be at an angle. Let's do it this way. And then I've got this piece of 1 inch. And I'm going to cut it out into a T-shape like you see there, with some slots for the U-bolt, a clearance hole in the back. I've got to also put a hole in here so I can get a socket through to tighten up that bolt. And then we'll put a slug inside this tube, drill it and tap it. 3/8/16, a couple of rosette welds to hold it in there. And that should do it. Okay, we got all our slotting and drilling operations done. I'm going to run out to the bandsaw, which is outside, and knock these corners off, and then do a rough cut on this part, and then we'll come back to the mill and kind of clean things up a little bit. Alright, with some cleanup and some therapeutic filing, our parts are ready to go here. I couldn't quite get the radius all the way in this one here. It's a little off on my hacksaw cut. I just roughed that out with a hacksaw. It was the easiest way to do it. But yeah, I'm happy. It looks good. This little extra ridge I left on here, that's actually going to give it, you know, a fair amount of extra strength. So that's why I left that on there. Okay, so I hope this doesn't come across as a cop-out, but I'm going to use a strut nut inside here for our connecting bolt. You know, rather than, you know, making a slug and rosette welding it in there. Yeah, so just using the easy button, guys. It's time to get this satellite dish mounting project finished. I think I started this, what, 8 weeks ago? Yeah, so between family matters that had to be dealt with and a new roof on the house, a couple of hunting trips, and other projects that kept putting this one on the back burner. It's time to get it done, so let's get it put together and mount it up on the side of the house. Hopefully everything fits. Okay, doing this with one hand. Yeah, so that's our adjustable angle top mount that will, you know, compensate for the angle of the roof. Of course, the U-bolt. Okay, let's go put it on. Well, there it is, all done. I got the dish realigned. I've actually got the best signal strength I think I've ever had, so getting it up a little higher definitely helped. And here's how it looks from the back side. Okay, let's go back in and do a quick wrap up. Hey, thanks everybody for sticking around. Yeah, that little project took forever. I mean, it literally took 8 weeks to get it done. A little bit here and there, you know, hour at a time. You know, just drug out. Yeah, so if you want to stick around for extra credit, I got some info here that you might be interested in. Info on the TV service and also how's Dad doing. So anyways, let's jump into the list here. So why keep the satellite dish? My original plan was just to get rid of it and go to 100% streaming. We don't watch that much TV. The one thing that we do like our sports, mainly hockey and baseball. So we do like our local sports, and that's where they get you. That's the only thing they got left, you know, for captive audience. So I looked into all the different streaming options, and they pretty much all work out of the same price book. I mean, it's within a couple dollars, you know, depending on who you go with. And the channel lineups are almost identical. The local sports, though, gets a little tricky on some of the streaming. I didn't dig into it that deeply, but they can do it. And of course, when you add on your local sports, that's extra cost and so forth. The other thing with streaming is they usually don't give you your local, news channels and so forth, where you do get that, you know, with your main cable providers and your satellite providers. So you know, that was a factor. The other thing is the HD quality on the satellite is excellent. Now granted, I haven't tried streaming, you know, with an official streaming service. I've done Netflix and Hulu and, you know, all your typical, you know, streaming services, but not the full package. So it might be a little better with the full package. I don't know if they have additional hardware or whatever, but the satellite HD quality is definitely better than what you can stream, in my opinion anyways. The other thing is it puts a burden on your network, where with the satellite there is no burden on your home network. Okay, so then getting into the pricing, so the satellite, what I pay, I just have, they call it the entertainment package. I got DirecTV, and it's like $65. Okay, but the other places they get you, like for satellite TV, is renting the receivers, and then they'll have like a receiver connection cost and so forth. I've been a customer for so long that you know, when I talked to them, I got them to waive all that stuff, and I did a one-time purchase. It was like $50 to buy all my receivers. I have 3 receivers. 2 of them are DVRs, and one's just a standard. So I own all the receivers, so there's no monthly fees at all. I just pay the straight package, $65. But here's the thing that really kind of sealed it for me, is they also include their streaming service. So you can get DirecTV as just a streaming only service, but if you're a satellite customer, you get both. So I've got streaming and satellite. So I've got 2 TVs, one in the kitchen and the one behind me here in the shop, and that's all I do on those. I just stream those. I don't want to, you know, have to buy another satellite box to put on those. So we don't use them that much, so we just stream those. And you can also do 3 off-site streams. So if you're on vacation, you can, and you got a smart TV at maybe your vacation home, cabin, what have you, you can stream there, no extra charge. Of course, you can do it to your laptop or any computer. If you're at a friend's house and maybe you can get something they can't get, as long as they got a smart TV or computer, you can stream it. Mom and dad, when I go to mom and dad's, we just stream on their TV. They got a smart TV, so that's a huge deal right there. And then of course we got the satellite here at the house, and you know that doesn't burden the internet, even though we do have really good internet. Yeah, so that was my decision. I just ended up sticking with the satellite. The couple negatives, I mean, you do have a dish you have to put somewhere, as you saw. When you get real bad weather, the signal can cut in, cut out, that kind of thing. And occasionally that happens. I just switch over to streaming when that happens. Yeah, so it worked out the best for us. Plus I get the bundle. I purchased my DirecTV through AT&T, so I get the bundle that with the internet, so that knocks a little bit off of both services. Yeah, so all right, enough on that. How's Dad doing? Yeah, it's been pretty rough. He's improving slowly. So for those of you that don't know, my dad had a stroke. Geez, how long has it been now? It's been back in I think it was April. He had a pretty severe stroke. Spent 6 weeks in the hospital, you know, hospital and recovery center. Went from wheelchair only to a walker, and now he's got one of those rolling walkers. So he's slowly improving. He went from having to have full-time care to now just part-time care. which is helping with the financial side of things. But yeah, he's slowly improving. He is almost 91. A couple more months will be his birthday. He'll be 91. So you know that's getting up there to recover from something like that. So it's been quite a bit of work for all of us. Mom is really, yeah, she's taking it pretty good, but yeah, she's had a lot of extra stress on her, and and luckily we do have a caregiver that helps out there, and of course I'm the closest geography wise, so I'm over there quite a bit, helping, mainly for things that the house needs, light bulbs, toilet's not working, water heater's not working, that kind of stuff, so I'm over there quite a bit for, for those kind of things. Yeah, so it takes up a fair amount of time, so, but we're kind of getting, in an equilibrium now, so, we've got a routine down, it's getting better, he's slowly improving. I keep cracking the whip, making sure that he, gets to his therapy and so forth, and yeah, so we're just hoping that he continues to improve. And enough said on that. So yeah, that's pretty much the update on Dad. All right, so yeah, I'm caught up a little bit now, so hopefully I can start doing a few more videos. Probably won't be weekly, but see if we can get a few more out. And winter time's coming, so there's less outdoor stuff to do. So that helps on the video side. You're kind of a captive, due to the weather and so forth. Yeah. So, all right. Well, anyways, thanks everybody, and we will see you on the next one. Bye now.